What's up guys, my name is Nikhil. I stay here in India. I own this bike for 2 years now, and I'm going to talk a little bit about the bike. I'm going to tell you guys right from tip to toe about what all experiences that I had on this bike, which might help you before you try and get this one for yourself. And if you have any questions or if you want to know more about the bike, just drop a comment below and I'll hopefully respond as soon as possible. Now we're going to talk about the specs. It has got 25 to 26 HP, somewhere between 25 to 26 HP, 23.5 Nm of torque. The top speed that the Honda claims is 150 kilometers per hour. And then the mileage that it gives is, personally what I've seen was 33 kilometers per liter. And I'm going to give you all the conversion, like from kilometers per hour to miles per hour, details below in the description. Otherwise you guys can always Google it, and trust me, this is the first review, so I'm not so sure what to talk, but I'm gonna do my best to help you guys buy one of these if you're looking forward to it. So I've done about 40,000 plus kilometers on it, been to many places, had an amazing time on the bike, with the bike. It's a pleasure riding this bike here in India. I would say one of the best bikes that you can own. And sorry about the sewage that you can see around. I haven't modified it really much. I just got these stickers on the rims, maybe for about 50 bucks. 50 bucks is like $1 on both the sides. I hope you can see it now from this side. Those little stripes right there on both the sides actually. So I don't really modify it much. I kept it stock, no exhaust, no filters changed, no nothing. Everything's stock. Yeah, and before we talk too much, let me just show you a quick walk around of how the bike looks like. It's a little bit damaged on the right side. I had a crash. Yeah, it looks really nice. For me, I really like it personally. Especially the rear tire. This is one of the biggest tires that any Indian bike has ever got. And trust me, I'm okay with the number plate shut up here. It doesn't really matter to me because I don't speed up. And Indian roads, you can't really speed up, especially on the street side, like these kind of roads, the cement, you can't really speed up. But on the highways you can, obviously, because it's very smooth. These days the Indian government, I don't know what it's up to, but they are making a lot of good roads around. I really like that part. And now let's go talk about the cons and pros. So let me start off with the bad things. Kind of things that I don't like on this bike. Yeah, one thing that I don't like is that the brake lever, it's a little upright. So for me, I'm a tall rider, I'm 6 feet tall, and when I especially try to rest my foot on the foot peg and I try to brake it, apply the brakes on this lever, I can't really do it easily, I have to kind of stress my foot in order to apply the brakes. The same with the gear lever. It's a little upright, so when you try to shift the gears, it's a little uncomfortable for me. And then I like the riding position. That's about the pros on this bike. The riding position especially doesn't make you feel tired, especially when you go on a long ride for about 500 kilometers or something, or even above that. And now we're talking about the good things, because that's the only one thing that I didn't like about it is the upright positioning of the levers, and the rest of it I'm cool with it. So that's the end of the bad things. So now back to the good things again. I like the way it goes. For, like I said, Indian roads don't need much of speed actually and acceleration, because there's a lot of traffic wherever you go. So this would be one of the best choice if you want to pick up a bike for commuting and stuff. It's got enough acceleration, enough top speed, good handling and comfort. So I guess pretty much everything that you need to look for in a bike, the Cbr 250R has it. When it comes to mileage, it's excellent. When it comes to top speed, it's good. And like I said, acceleration, you don't need much, so it's all the best you could get out of this Cbr 250R for Indian roads. Let me just show you guys how many kilometers I've done again. There it is, for 40,660. I hope you guys can see it. Yeah. So this is how it sounds like. Pretty clean and not too loud. I guess this is how a 250 is supposed to sound. Or maybe not, but I guess at least an R, which has got 25 HP, can sound like this. A lot of people around. I'm not so comfortable doing this, but I still have to. I'm not gonna care what they're gonna think. It's a colony, but I'm gonna just rev it and show you guys how it sounds like. Yeah, that's it. So maintenance, let me talk a little bit about the maintenance, and before I talk, let me just make myself a little comfortable sitting here and talk. Okay, so 40,000 kilometers, 15,000 kilometers, you're gonna have to change the air filters. My tire, which is Continental, it wears out the rear tire that I'm talking about, it wears out every 20,000 kilometers. So every 20,000 kilometers you're gonna have to change the rear tire, and the front, it wears out in 30,000. That is what I've seen. And I would suggest Indian roads, people talk a lot about the grip that is lacking on the tire, but I feel that the Continental has got an average grip, and it's a safe tire, I would say. I mean, Honda's done a lot of research on it before they've given these tires on this Cbr 250R for Indian roads. So trust me, you might think of Michelin, you might think of other tires, but I guess this is the best choice that I would suggest if you were to get a new tire. And then now that my bike is 40,000 kilometers old, I've got a little problem with the shims inside, because the engine is a little rough. It was pretty smooth before, but right now it's a little rough. And then the air filters, I've changed every 15,000 kilometers, like I said, so twice now. And then the disc pads, you know, the disc pads, like, which are inside the disc, not the disc, but the disc pads. So I had to, I mean, you usually have to replace it every 7 to 8,000 kilometers. That is what I've seen, what I've experienced. Little dog right there, trying to smooch me or something. It's hungry, I guess. Yeah, so the maintenance, let me talk a little bit about the maintenance as well. You're gonna have to service your bike every 3 months, which is gonna cost you about 3,000 to 4,000 bucks, Indian rupees, which is again converted to US. It should be 50. Let me just, yeah, I just did the math, and it's $60 is what I came up with. $60. I mean, if you live in India, $60 is what you would have to pay for every three months for servicing, the engine oil change, and the other stuff that they do when you give it for service. So pretty decent for maintaining this bike. Insurance is very cheap. I paid about 2,300 bucks after the first time, and the second time I had to pay a little lesser. When I finished my first year on this bike, I had to pay about 2,300, and the next year a little lesser than that. So that's about the insurance. And other than that, for tires, you would have to maybe just spend about 2,500 to 3,000 bucks. The rear tire and the front about the same, maybe 200 bucks lesser than the rear tire. And the filter, the filter and the minor changes that they do when you service the bike, they did not really cost too much. The maximum that I had to spend servicing the bike was about I guess until now was about $7,000 to $8,000, which is again very cheap. $120 if you want me to like tell you what the dollar rate is, for you to understand. So it's one of the best bikes again for Indian roads. And if you were to choose between the Cbr 250R and 250R, or Yamaha R15 and 250R, you might as well think about what you want in a bike. I would say this bike is pretty decent. I mean, 33 kilometers or 35 kilometers per liter is the mileage that it gives. So that's very close to the 150cc bikes. So not much of a difference. I mean, unless you think about the servicing stuff like engine oil change. A little costly, I understand, but pretty decent for this bike, because you get much more than what you spend on this bike. That is what I've seen so far. And being the owner of this bike, trust me guys, if you were to buy one of these, a Cbr 250R or a Ninja 250R, you would learn how to actually perform, learn how to do stuff on a track, because it teaches you everything. Because most of the Indian bikes, they don't have this handle left free. I mean, you always got the headlamp attached to the handle. So on this one it's a little different, like the Pulsar 220 or R15 is the same. So you would learn how the feel of a sport bike is. And then you would also, because it's got a little more power than the Indian bikes like Splendor or Passion Plus or any of the other Indian bikes, you would understand how a bigger bike feels like. So, which is why most of the riders, they say you should start on a 250, not on a 600. So, anyways, we're not gonna go too far, because especially the Indian roads, they really suck. So if you have to think about a 600 or something, you're gonna have to really think about it, because they're very costly. They're double the price of what they cost in the US. So unless the tax is cut down or something, you can't really afford those bikes. I mean, maybe you can, but I can't really afford the bike, or my friends really can't. So I can't, let me think about what I should talk now, because that's almost everything that I had to speak about the bike. And yeah, the pillion rider, again, is gonna have a nice time on the bike, because a nice time riding on this one, because it's very comfortable. No aches, nothing, very comfortable, very less vibrations than the other bikes. You can't really feel the vibrations, especially on the highways or when you're going on long rides. And I guess that's about what I had to say about the bike. And if you have any questions, if you want to know more about the maintenance or anything about this bike, I'll be glad to answer those questions. Please post a comment below, and you would get a reply as soon as possible. And I really thank you guys for watching. I hope you guys have a good time, and I hope this helped you guys a little bit. And take care. See you guys. Bye.